Hello, thanks for tuning in. Now, today I will be talking about some of the strategic themes that I see is on top of the mind of the insurance CEOs and C-level executives here in the region in the GCCs. I am meeting the top management of the insurance industry here in the GCCs frequently. And over the last couple of months, I've gathered the thoughts and the priorities that I see these CEOs from the insurance companies they have. And I want to talk with you about that and also give you my perspective and point of view on these priorities, and maybe where I have some ideas or comments to what is bothering the CEOs of the insurance industry in the Middle East the most. I've tried to condense the talks that I've had, and I found 9 different themes. These 9 themes range from digital transformation and artificial intelligence over cybersecurity risks to environmental challenges, talent acquisitions, and so forth. And I will be sharing my thoughts with you on what is the top priority of the insurance executives and what that means for our industry, and perhaps also give my point of view to some of the areas where I guess I could be maybe a little concerned about the direction of our industry. So stay tuned and hang in there. I guess if I'm to give you a general overview, kind of like an executive summary, then I would say that what's top of the minds of the insurance executives right now is, apart from the claims cost reductions and the concerns that we are having following the floods, especially in the UAE, is still, and I mean still, distribution, sales. How do we get more customers? How do we create new and interesting products to attract customers? This is still on top of the minds of the executives, and it's above everything else. So when I'm looking at the different areas, the different topics that the insurance CEOs are thinking about, customer acquisition to most places always comes first. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. However, I've said it before, and I'll be happy to say it again. I feel that in the industry, we're pretty good at customer acquisition. The digital distribution, the digital acquisition channels, the way that customers can go online and buy an insurance today is quite good. So maybe it's because of the heavy competition that I'm also sensing is on top of the head of the insurance executives. Maybe it's because of the competition that we still have this feeling that distribution is in top focus. But I think an equally, if not more important factor is, how do we run our operations? How do we ensure that our claims operations are as good as possible? How can we make sure that we get the best prices, the best qualities in our networks? How can we make sure that we reduce the fraud that's going on? And how can we ensure that we provide our customers with a seamless customer experience? I realize there's many things to be aware of, but that's the job of a CEO. And I feel now, for our industry, it's about time that we look inwards and start thinking of how do we improve the rest of the journey and not just the distribution journey. Now, if we change our focus from distribution and customer acquisition into compliance and risk, insurance CEOs are focusing a lot on keeping up with the regulatory changes and making sure that the organization as such is compliant, which is fantastically important and of course should be on top of the head of the insurance industries. Now, if we turn our head to compliance and risk, one of the top topics, if not the most important topic for the insurance CEOs, is making sure that the organization is compliant against the government requirements. And of course, this is the first and foremost and most important job of an insurance CEO, to make sure that you are abiding to the regulatory requirements in the country that you're operating in. However, I still feel that what's called internal governance, which currently is not very focused on by the CEOs, should have a higher priority. Why? Because our industry have a lot of veterans. Our industry have a lot of experts who've been working in the industry for decades, and that's fantastic. But we also know that if you're doing a job in the same industry for many years, first of all, you become an expert, but you also start to get your own ways of working. And these old ways may not be the exact processes that the insurance company need you to follow. And if you don't focus on your internal governance, your internal processes, and making sure that they are followed, you risk some steps, important steps, maybe even compliance steps, are being skipped. You also risk the collection of intellectual property in the insurance organization. These senior experts that's been with you for so long, they know everything about the business. They know everything about how operations are working. But when new joiners are coming, they may not get the full benefit from that knowledge if it's only in the heads of the experts. Focusing on internal governance and internal procedures will actually ensure that A, the experts constantly follow the processes they're supposed to, but B, the knowledge and expertise that is with the insurance experts is actually put into the processes and the governance of the insurance company, and therefore becomes part of the insurance company's intellectual property. The insurers reduce the dependency on key men. And at some point, anybody wants to go home with time. And we can allow that the experts are taking that knowledge with them home. They have to stay with the insurance company as intellectual property. Now let's turn to one of my favorite topics, big data and artificial intelligence. Insurance CEOs, they are focusing on looking at insurtechs and looking at the competition coming from insurtechs, and they're all interested in doing something with insurtechs or artificial intelligence, big data. I also sense that something is desperately looking for a first step. How do we get started? Where do we get started? How do we understand, figure out where to start? And most of the insurance companies, they don't have that capability today to actually get into starting with big data, artificial intelligence, master data management, which is completely understandable. However, we have to start addressing it. We have to start understanding how to identify where to start, where to begin, how to start, how to begin. And that is not the insurance executives, for most, would like to talk about it, but they still don't fully have this is where we're going to start, this is where we're going to start. And that has an inherent risk, because that means if external vendors, they come with good ideas and fantastic good sales material and very, very impressive demos, we can be tempted to say, okay, we want one of those, before we even think about how will that benefit us and will that fit in to our processes, how we work. I therefore think that there is a need for further education and upscaling of not only the insurance CEOs, but the executive level of the insurance companies in general. So we understand first, what is artificial intelligence? To me, it's a tool. It's not something in itself. It's a tool that you use to improve your operations, either to generate revenue or to reduce your costs. End of discussion. But you still need to understand this, and you need to understand how and where do we apply this tool. I guess I've written a paper about this that you'll be able to find here in the link below, and explains this a little bit better, and also give you a more structured way of the findings we're talking about. But in summary, insurance CEOs are cautiously optimistic about where the world is going. They have a strong focus on customer acquisition. They have a strong focus on willingness, I would say, to explore how do we use the new technologies, how do we use the new big data, artificial intelligence to get ahead, to improve the way that we work. But they still need this, where do we take the first step to get started. And let me just, at the end of this, say, when we're talking about talent management, talent acquisition, most insurance CEOs, they're saying we really need to hire outside talent to organization. And I understand this. There is a need for new blood, for new talent. But I'm a little sad to see that the thinking of upskilling existing people is so low on the priorities. We don't really talk about this. And I feel if you really want to change your organization for the future, yes, I'm a firm believer that you need new ideas, new blood, new ways of looking at the organization, so you don't get stuck in, this is how we do here, so you don't get stuck in the culture. But you're not going to go anywhere if you don't bring the existing organization with you. And in order to bring the existing organization with you, you need to think about upskilling, up-qualification of the people that you already have. I guess you can say the future is fantastically exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing how we involve our beloved industry. Thank you so much for listening, and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.